Chapter 101, Oh, it's our boss's lady. Evening. At an outdoor beer bar, Su Cheng and Ran Jing sat face to face, eating skewers at a table that was covered with bottles of beer. Not long after, a red Maserati sports car drove over, and Shen Yao, wearing a V-neck long dress, got off the car and immediately became a beautiful piece of eye candy admired by everyone around. She threw her long hair back as she sat down, opened a beer bottle, and took a sip. Cheers, congratulations on your promotion. Shen Yao said as she lifted her bottle. Su Cheng was originally drinking from a glass, but who knew Shen Yao would be so manly that she would drink straight out of the bottle. The bottle's pretty big, can it fit into your mouth? Su Cheng made a perverted joke. Shen Yao didn't realize what the joke was, and after 2 seconds, her face blushed as she immediately tried to kick Su Cheng with her high heels below the table. You got set up at the office and you still have the heart to joke around? And aren't you a soldier? Why are you drinking beer from a glass? Su Cheng's face was all twisted from the pain. He rubbed his feet as he said, if I drink bottles and you guys drink glasses, I'm scared that you guys will take advantage of me if I get drunk first. The two women both gave Su Cheng the stink eye. Okay, you still didn't tell me yet, do you have a plan on how to deal with Westgate? Ran Jing was still worried about Su Cheng, and she wouldn't feel assured until she heard a plan. Shen Yao directly placed her hand on Su Cheng's forehead to measure his temperature. You don't have a fever, so your brain should be fine. Why would you want to screw Westgate all of a sudden? Su Cheng drank some beer and said, if someone tried to assassinate you, will you pretend as if nothing happened? In this world, there are just too many ways they can go about killing someone, and although the last hitman group failed, they will for sure take other measures. I'm a police officer, so I can't do whatever I want like they can, but that doesn't mean I will sit still and let them do whatever. So, I thought I might as well just go against them head on. Head on? How? Shen Yao snorted. Ran Jing said she couldn't convince you, so I came. Su Cheng, let me tell you how Westgate managed to secure the rights to those casinos back then. Overall, they have at least 5 on the surface, and that's enough to prove that they have strong connections in Shangcheng. They have deals with organizations and government officials in the daylight as well as forces that operate in the dark, which isn't easy. Although my dad is really rich, if we are talking about connections, he won't be able to compare with Westgate for sure. It can be said that the Westgate gang's connections are out of this society already, and it really wouldn't be something a criminal police officer like you can handle. Investigating them on money laundering will not only involve Westgate, but the huge circle of underground money houses. In front of capitalism, even if you are an official figure, other people will still have a way to screw you. Ran Jing nodded and said, it's not that we are not going to uproot the other 3 gates, it's just not the time yet. The shadows of many larger international companies are behind Westgate. Westgate smuggling and money laundering are already trying to grab business from the country, but think about it. If they have the balls to do that, then they must have a large organization supporting them from behind. Smuggling and money laundering has always been a pain in the ass for any country, and it's not that countries don't want to take care of this problem, but that they can't. The most they can do is to minimize it. Su Cheng was curious. Why? Shen Yao was clearly not a simple-minded beautiful second-gen rich heir coming out from a rich family, and her answer was straight to the point. Because of financial groups. Financial groups? Su Cheng frowned. Ran Jing nodded. There are a group of capitalist groups in the world that will do anything, including acting outside of the law to gain profit, and these groups can be worldwide, so there's no way for any country to eradicate them, only to contain them. This is why the Eastgate's smuggling port should only be controlled rather than eradicated. So, as long as we have things under control and keep the margin on those smuggling deals to a minimum, then that would be the best case scenario. The moment we eradicate them, they will just find a new port, and then we will be on the passive side again. Similarly, if you get into the way of those casinos doing money laundering, the underground money houses will warn you. And I know that the moment you get serious, you won't give up until you get to the bottom of things and end their life, whether it's literally or sending them to prison. Su Cheng didn't deny it. Right, we form a habit in the military, that even if the enemy is lying in a pool of blood, we would always stab or shoot them a few more times to make sure that they are dead. Otherwise, any careless mistakes that one makes can bring trouble to the team. At the same time, if we are going to investigate, then we will do a comprehensive job, or the potential danger could be devastating. Shen Yao, I really respect your professional ethics, but Su Cheng, no one is a saint. As your friends, we just hope you don't put your life at risk. For sensitive cases like money laundering, it's best if you don't try to investigate this abyss. Ranjing, don't worry, he's a boss without an army now, he won't be able to pull anything off. Su Cheng laughed and said, who told you that? Then, he nonchalantly shouted towards his surroundings, Wu Gang, Li Chao, when are you guys going to hide until? Under the seaside breeze, Wu Gang and the others walked out from the dark. They all awkwardly looked at each other before finally walking to Su Cheng's table. No more no less, just 10 of them. Su Cheng pointed at the 10 bottles left on the table and said, I knew you guys would come so I ordered these for you already. If you made up your mind, then let's drink. Tomorrow, we will officially dive into the Westgate case. The 10 of them were quite surprised. After a close count, there were 10 beers on the table, no more no less, unopened. They were all super curious and shocked as to how Su Cheng knew they were around. Shen Ya rolled her eye at Su Cheng. I thought you were going to drink yourself drunk. Su Cheng smiled. No, as the newly appointed boss, it's obvious that I need to have a drink with my new brothers, right? Li Chao and Wu Gang exchanged a look, and they picked up the beer bottles and passed them to the other members of Team 2. Then, everyone opened the bottle with their teeth and said at the same time, Boss, we will follow you from now on. Su Cheng patted Wu Gang and the others on the shoulder. Cheers, let's drink. Then, the 11 men's bottles clanked into each other and they downed the whole bottle. After they were done, the 10 guys all looked towards Su Cheng, and the latter smiled and said, have a seat, let's talk about work assignment now. Li Chao paused for a moment. Now? Su Cheng nodded, you think we can talk in the office? So many people are laughing and rooting for us to fail. Don't you think if we talk in the office, the content will leak and be bad for our plan? Wu Gang suddenly came to a realization. Holy crap, this guy was indeed one with a sophisticated mind. They realized that they had underestimated their new boss earlier, and it seemed like this new captain of theirs was not only powerfully in combat, but his brain was fast enough as well. But, there still seemed to be 2 other women at the table. Li Chao looked at Su Cheng, as if he didn't know how to word his thoughts. Then, what about them? Su Cheng replied nonchalantly, you can think of them as a beautiful background. Right after his voice faded, Shen Yao's high heel came right for him. She gritted her teeth and said, I'm giving you enough face in front of your buddies. Just wait and see when you get home. That sentence immediately triggered some thoughts in Li Chao and the others, feeling that only Su Cheng's woman would say something so thought-provoking. Oh, so she's our boss's lady, I'm sorry for being disrespectful. Wu Gang and the others immediately came around her and began pouring drinks for her.